Hello everybody and welcome to Dynamic GT League's VW Supersport for round 4 at the Sardegna Road Track C circuit. Before we head over to the action, a little bit of cleaning up to do. Unfortunately, an incident involving Bunsell was missed out on the reports last week, so he is due a 5-point penalty which will be applied onto his standings at the end of this event. The current standings as of 3 races is Demon R leading the way from SGP, Steve F1 in 3rd, Tyler 4th, Dave the Harp 5th, Fluffy Planet 6th, formerly Gary and Groover joint 7th, and then we've got Bunsell and SRI 9th and 10th. We then have Twilight joint 10th, Rich Blues, Jason, Lewis, Jimmy and Con Reese rounding out the full list of drivers. Okay, just before we head over to see the action, let's have a look at how the grid is going to be formed up today in reverse championship standings order. So Jimmy C, he's going to start on pole position in his only 2nd race in the DGT League. He's going to be joined by Lewis on row 1. Jason's on row 2 with the Rich Blues. And on row 3 we have Groover and Formula Gary. Row 4 is Fluffy Planet and Tyler. While on row 5 we have Steve F1 and SGP. Row 6 is Demon R and Driver Away. Who's he then? Oh, that's right. We've got Dave the Harp and Twilight on holiday together. I don't know. Bunsell's had to work unfortunately, and SRI is unwell, and Connor hasn't got his internet yet, so a few drivers missing today. But let's head over to the commentary team for all the action. Joining me on commentary today is the 2 and only James. How are you, James?
Yeah, not bad. And yeah, how about you?
Yeah.
Right, let's get ready for the race.
So here we go then, the drivers are ready. Jimmy sitting on pole position for the first time with Lewis alongside him as we get ready for the lights to go out, although they don't go out, but the drivers do go away, and it looks like Jimmy's had a decent start. Lewis, not a bad one, but Jason, he's had a flyer up in 3rd place.
Yeah, he's looking up the inside of Lewis down in towards turn 1, and there is Tyler. Ooh. And he's up the inside of Groover. He's made it through, so that's a nice start for him. There is SGP at the back of the pack. Yeah. And he's going to have to... that's not a good start.
Oh, he's going around. He's not saving that one. That's disastrous for SGP straight away. But for Tyler, he started in about 8th place and he's already up into 2nd. I think he may have just nudged Jason, though, and put Jason into Adrian's wall. However, Lewis is all over the back of Tyler. But Jimmy, he's been bragging to Rich Blues all week that with him starting on pole, he can't be beaten.
Well, Lewis is slightly out of control already, and Tyler, I tell you what, he just made an absolute flyer from, I don't know what position he were on the grid, but he's already up to P2 at the end of the lap. Yes. And there is Demon R.
Yeah, Tyler absolutely flying. Demon R all over the back of Fluffy Planet. It looks like he's got a decent run on Fluffy here. And up alongside he goes. How hard is Fluffy going to fight this? Groover coming in closely in the background as well. But Fluffy realises there's not a lot he can do there other than ride it around the outside. And you know what? He's got a decent run out of the corner.
Yeah, he just needs to make sure that he's... Demon R slightly sideways there, just touched the curb. And Fluffy can run it round the outside here as long as he leaves the car's space.
Oh, he doesn't want to run too far wide here though, and to be fair, Demon R giving him the room. Groover trying to have a look through there as well, but it's not really a place to try and go too wide, let alone 3 wide. We mentioned about Tyler flying. He is all over the back of Jimmy already. Now, I do know, James, that this track, Sardegna Road Track C, it is not an easy track to overtake on, but Tyler has made a number of moves in the opening 2 laps, and he's all over the back of Jimmy for the lead.
Yeah, to be fair, I think he's just capitalised on people's mistakes, and this is the first proper overtake he's going for, up the inside in towards turn 1, and Jimmy, can he take it around the outside?
Oh, you know what, that's good driving from Jimmy, making it as tight as possible for Tyler. He does not want to give this up. Tyler doesn't want to let him give it up. No, Tyler wants to make him give it up, and he has done. Let's see, Demon R all over the back of Jason now. Jason has had no practice for this event as they run into the Adrians, and Gary's off into the barrier. He's into Adrian's wall, and I'll explain why. It's caught in a minute. It's Demon R and Jason side by side.
Yeah, very close there. I think if either of them went in a bit harder, they'd have both ended up in the wall, but Oh, it looks like Steve F1 just made a move on Jason as well.
He has. Steve F1 trying to follow Demon R as he's making places, does not want to let Demon R get away. Rich Blues is also all over the back of Lewis. He's going to try and make the move if he can, but Fluffy Planet up alongside Jason. And yeah, even though Jason can drive, as SGP's having a look up the inside of Fluffy as well. 3 wide we go then, down into turn 1. Steve F1's got a right battle going on behind him, but Rich Blues is trying to attack Lewis, but Demon R's closing in on him. And there is Steve F1 as Jason tags the side of Fluffy, and Fluffy kills Groover.
Yeah, I think Fluffy just came back on the circuit out of control there, and Groover were just unfortunately in the wrong place at the wrong time. But here we go.
Richard Lewis, he's into the barrier.
Ooh, that were very close to massive disaster.
It was, and the thing is, clipping the wall where he did, it's compromised his speed on probably the fastest part of the circuit, and he is being swamped now, is Lewis, so he needs to try and recover, as Demon R is now on the back of Rich Blues. And to be fair, Tyler and Jimmy have ran away.
Yeah, they have. They're not messing about. An SGP, I think he's still in 8th place at the moment. But somebody's gone into the pit lane.
Yeah, they have. It might be Groover. I could be wrong there. So Demon R making the move around the outside of Rich Blues. Oh, Steve's gone into the gravel. Oh, and he nearly wipes out SGP. It was Groover, I think. No, Jason, he may have been. Sorry, that was in the pits. It was one of the two of them. Maybe both.
Yeah, so Gary, he's on the back of SGP now. Can he try and pull away from both Fluffy and Lewis, who look to be wanting to murder each other in the background?
Yeah, I must admit, the downhill section there is not... You can go side by side, but you have to go so slow to make it. It's much better to drop into single file. But yeah, I mean, Formula Gary, interestingly, in the practice sessions, he's been on the same pace as Demon R and Steve F1.
Yeah, so that's good. That's good. More competitors up at the front is good to know. And yeah, we've got somebody going side by side. I think it's Fluffy and Gary, but Gary's braked very deep indeed, but managed to hold it in front of Fluffy. Lewis is getting a bit impatient back there, and here is SGP all over Rich Blues.
Yeah, SGP having a look into Radrian's, going a bit deep on the brake. Rich is trying to make it difficult for him, and you know, oh no, Rich is into the barrier, is he? Yes, he is. Oh, disaster for Rich. He looked brave. It ended in disaster.
Yeah, I think SGP is going to have to give that place back, because that looked like he, from my perspective, like as if he just shoved him off onto gravel there.
Yeah, give him a penalty. Oh, I don't think Fluffy wants the pit lane. No, he doesn't. He just ran a little bit wide, and here comes Steve F1 trying to recover side by side with Groover and Lewis. I tell you what, Steve F1 may be in a half decent position here. Groover could get sandwiched. Lewis is going to need to be aware that there's 2 cars next to him, and it looks like he is just still turns in a bit, but he's side by side with Steve F1. Steve F1 making moves as soon as he can. I mean, to be fair, Steve F1 and SGP can't afford to let Demon R disappear like he is doing at the moment, not with the way the championship standings are lining up.
Well, Demon R's in 3rd place right now. He's closing in on Jimmy as we speak. So yeah, SGP needs to get on with it. As you can see, flashes of Demon R just further up the road, but cannot make any mistakes. Braking on the inside there can look quite appetising to go for that inside line, but really just breaking off the racing line, and it's quite slippy out there.
It is, and the thing is, if you do it from too far back, it's just going to end in disaster. SGP had a look, but he's having another look, a better look now down into turn 1, but Gary's got him covered off. That's good driving by Gary. Steve F1 has managed to get through the rest of the pack, and he's now almost on the back of SGP, as SGP trying to have a look on the left of Gary to try and get the inside line to Radrian's, but he can't quite do it. Steve F1 in the background coming under attack from Lewis.
Ooh, SGP almost slid wide there. And yeah, Steve F1 he's really struggling to keep Lewis behind him, because he's got a lot of pace back there. But SGP this time, is he going to manage to get it in position to have a look on the straight as Lewis is up the inside of Steve F1?
Yeah, I think Steve F1 may have just left the door open a tiny little bit too much. When you mentioned about Demon R catching up to Jimmy, and that is happening right now. He's attacking him towards turn 1. I think this could be a fairly simple overtake. No, he's not going for it.
Yeah, I don't think he wasn't going for it. I think Jimmy just thought, you know what, as long as I leave a car's width, I'm just going to turn in. And fair play. Demon R's going to have to think about this one a little bit more.
You know what I think it could have been? I think it might be Demon R thinking, I've not battled with this guy yet, let's see what he's going to do. What he's going to do is clip the wall, and that gives Demon R the opportunity, compromise Jimmy through the corner, and is Jimmy going to chuck it up the inside into the last corner? No, he's not, and that's what I like to see. He realised that there was nothing he could do there. Tyler into the pits, so race leader into the pits. Has he got a big enough gap to come out ahead of the pack?
Yeah, I think he's been listening to what I was saying last week at the Nürburgring, because I think he's just exiting pit lane.
Ooh, yeah, right behind Jimmy. So comes in the pits in first, comes out in third, ahead of the pack. Brilliant timing for Tyler, as SGP still stuck behind Gary. So this is what I was saying. Gary, oh no, Gary! Oh, I tell you, SGP got lucky there. He could have been absolutely destroyed, but the big beneficiary was Steve F1.
Yeah, just watched one car losing control, hitting another, and he's just thinking, thank you very much, I'll have a bit of that, and he's off down the road. As we were saying, Tyler right now, he's sitting he's laughing right now. He's got the freshest tyres of everybody, and he's in third place. He's just got Jimmy in front of him, and then if he can close up on Demon R's only a few seconds down the road as well.
Yeah, exactly. So the battle is on then for the lead of the race. Tyler is the driver to beat at the moment. And yeah, I was mentioning that it is difficult to overtake around here, which is why SGP had been stuck behind Gary for so long. But also, Gary has had decent pace in practice. Or, I tell you what, I think Tyler's got a decent run on Jimmy here. Yeah, Tyler's going to have a look up the inside. Jimmy's tyres are starting to rub off a little bit. Is Tyler going to go for it late on the brakes? Yes, he is. And to be fair, Jimmy's giving plenty of room there to make that work.
Yeah. I think Jimmy was smart enough there to know that there's no point in fighting somebody who's just come out of the pit lane and they're so quickly closed up on you. And there's just no point in fighting a losing battle there.
Too right. I mean, it takes two to tango. It takes three to make twins.
Yeah, and it takes Fluffy and Lewis to make a disaster.
I was going to say, my eyes the cars are too bright. Let's see Jason having a look at Groover, but Groover's having a look at Gary. Gary's going defensive, but Groover's up the inside. Jason trying to go around the outside. If Gary goes for the switchback, he might benefit.
Ooh, Gary getting squeezed there.
You git. Groover's gone wide of Adrian's. I think he's into the barrier. Yes, he is. He's hard into the wall. Rich. Who was that? Was that Rich and Gary? Yes, he was.
Gary trying it round the outside there. I'd have been touching cloth at that point.
Steve F1 trying to move on Jimmy, but Jimmy caught the curb, caught the grass. He's now gone deep. So Steve F1. He's going to slot in behind SGP, is he? No,
in that pit lane.
Yeah, he's going for the pit. Even if he didn't want it, he's going for the pits.
Yeah, I don't think there's been any room for him to get back on it. We're like entering the motorway off a little tiny junction, and here we go. We've got Jason up the inside of Fluffy, but that's going to be 3 wide into turn 1, and hopefully Bunsell can, Rich Blues can realise that.
Well, I was going to say, if Bunsell can realise it, he's done well. He's in an Italian restaurant eating food. To be fair, though, that was a lovely bit of driving from Fluffy and Rich Blues. Fluffy realising he can't quite keep Jason behind him. Jason's gone wide. Did Fluffy hit him there? I'm not sure.
Yeah, he did. He went in there way too deep there, Fluffy. And Rich is slowing down. I think Fluffy needs to slow down for Jason. I think he is doing. Hopefully he is.
Unless it was Rich that hit Jason, because Rich was slowing down and Jason got past him. I'm not sure. My eyes can't cope with this as Rich and Jason go side by side around the final corner. Is Rich going for the pit lane? No, misses the pit wall just. Okay, what's the situation at the front? Demon R leading the way. Tyler in second place but gaining on him. Jason still attacking Rich though.
Yeah, Tyler's very close. I don't think it'll be long before Tyler.
Lewis into the gravel. Is he going to save it? It's still a question. He's going wide here, is he? No, he saved it. You know what? We've seen SGP, Steve F1 and Formula Gary all spin out there doing exactly the same thing. So fair play to Lewis. He's going this time, is he? He's saved it. No, he hasn't. Yes, he has.
Oh, Jimmy, watch out.
Oh, Jimmy Mac, when are you coming back?
Well, hopefully next week, but here we go. We've got SGP all over the back of Steve F1. Steve F1 sneaked through earlier on, but SGP's closed in back on Steve F1. Can he try and make his way through past Steve F1? But I think the thing for these two guys is that really need to be focusing not on each other, focusing on getting close back up near the front, but that's going to be a bit of a gap to pull in. Jimmy! Oh, that were I think that were a week late and about £20 short there.
Yeah, he penetrated a little bit too late and too deep there, unfortunately. The other thing for Steve F1 and SGP is they've got to be aware of what's happening behind them, because Gary is right there. Now, I know Steve F1 and SGP have not pitted. Yes, Gary's going wide. Is he going to save it? Oh, he's going to. Oh, Jimmy going wide as well. Fluffy, he's having a look at Gary up the inside. Can he get it slowed down? Yes, but Gary's going for the switchback. But here comes Jimmy around the outside as SGP is going for the pit lane. Is he? No.
Ooh, I think somebody else is going for the pit lane now. I'm not too sure who that is, but yeah, this is the danger zone of getting in that pack. If you get stuck in this pack, it is a nightmare, because everybody wants to fight you tooth and nail and nobody wants to let you through. And right now, Jimmy, he's come out on fresher tyres, but he's finding himself to just keep getting stuck in this pack. He needs to try and break away from these guys.
The interesting thing as well is Tyler pitted with about 7.5 minutes gone. I'm thinking he may have pitted early to stop anyone from undercutting him, but Demon R hasn't pitted yet, and we're 14 minutes into the race. Steve F1 and SGP haven't pitted yet, neither has Fluffy, I don't think. So I'm wondering if Tyler may have got his strategy a little bit wrong, because Demon R, Steve F1 and SGP are still running, or the SGP's into the pit lane now. I was going to say they're running a similar pace to those that are on brand new tyres.
Yeah, but I think Tyler, I'd rather be in P2 with 8-minute fresher tyres than be in P1 knowing that the guy behind me has got an advantage. I think even if you're doing similar lap times, as long as I think it's more of a mental battle, really, not to just focus on the car in front and really use what you've got. I mean, if you've got 8-lap fresher tyres, use them. Absolutely rag them. If you know that you're going to be doing another stop as well, rag them.
Yeah, definitely.
But
Gary going side by side with Rich Blues. Gary's lost it. Into Rich Blues he goes. They both visit the barrier. That's disastrous for Gary there. Is he going to wait? I would hope so. It looks like he's going for the pit lane, and going for the pits is not the same as waiting. SGP, though, having come out of the pits, he's now at the back of the pack. Jason pitted a lap ago. So this is a situation now where Jimmy hasn't been able to gain on his fresher tyres, and SGP is all on the back of the pack. He's making a move past Lewis. He's having a look at Groover, but is he going to get past Jason as well? I don't think so. Not unless he goes for a bit down there into Radrian's.
Oh, he's kind of just sticking his car in halfway in a gap. But yeah, I think if I were Tyler, I'd just get as close as I could up behind Demon R, and either push Demon R into a mistake, or if he doesn't make a mistake, just keep as close as you can, and then pit the same lap right up behind him.
Yeah.
And just put him under more and more pressure. The longer you stick behind him, the more pressure you're putting on him.
Well, the difficult thing for Tyler now, because clearly he's on a different strategy as we're having a look at Jason SGP. See, SGP was attacking Jason, but now he's coming under attack. I know it can be frustrating for the drivers, but it's brilliant for us to watch. But I mean, SGP just wants to get a move on. He wants to get past Jason, get past Jimmy and go, but he can't do that. So it'll be interesting to see if he loses out overall compared to Steve F1, who hasn't pitted yet. Lewis is getting close to that barrier again. Oh, SGP is getting close to the wall as well, but Jason's still ahead. I don't know if Tyler has got the space to pit and come out again ahead of the pack. Ooh, SGP sideways, may have been assisted a little bit there by Groover.
Yeah, I think he's been taking tips there from Steve McQueen as SGP, but yeah, he needs to get on with it. He cannot be fannying about any longer, because he's just getting stuck here as SGP. He needs to do a bit of a damn dare move on the brakes and really say to Jason, look mate, I'm coming through. I don't want to hit you off, but I'm coming through.
I don't want to hit you off, but if I have to. No. We do not condone that at all. To be fair, Jason's opened up a little bit of a gap on SGP, and Jason is attacking Jimmy, and Lewis is having a look at the inside of SGP. Oh, may have just nudged him a little bit wide, but I think Lewis is into the barrier. Is he trying to slow down? I think he may have been. well, you know what? I think Demon R has opened up that gap a little bit to Tyler. But yeah, I mean, it'll be interesting to see when Tyler pits again, because the different strategies, or Steve F1's into the pits for his first stop, and you know what? I wouldn't be surprised if we don't see him stop again.
So it's going to be crucial here to see whether Steve F1 gets out in front of SGP. SGP's just been put in the wall, so I think he will do. There he is. Oh, so close to hitting Gary there, coming down the start-finish straight.
I'm pretty sure I've just seen SGP in the pit lane again as Gary runs a little bit wide.
I won't be surprised. The amount of gravel he'll have on his tyres still be useless, so he might as well have pitted. But yeah, that's what I mean. Getting stuck in that pack has just absolutely destroyed SGP's race.
Yeah, definitely. So Demon R still leading from Tyler. I think if I'm Tyler in this position, I'd be worried. Like, okay, he's close to the car ahead. He's going for the pit, so Tyler's going for his second pit stop. That suggests to me that he's got another. Oh, Groover tags the back of Gary. Jason pushed a little bit wide. Steve F1 trying to get through now as well. So let's see if Steve F1 is going to suffer the same fate as SGP.
Tyler's got to be praying he's coming out in front of his pack, and he has done. I think he's come out in P3.
Yeah.
But still, right now, I don't know. I think if I'd have been in Tyler's shoes, I'd have just stuck with Demon R all the way to the pit stop. Yeah. Just put him under as much pressure as possible. Because right now, he's going slightly quicker behind Demon R, but Demon R only has to pit, and he'll come out straight in front of him. Or if Tyler does do the undercut,
he's going to have to pull. He's going to have to pull away from Demon R when Demon R pits.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's not going to be easy to do, as we know. But Tyler needs to make swift work on Fluffy here. He can't afford to lose any time in this battle.
Yeah, he needs to get past straight away. Demon R is not pitted, so yeah, I think Demon R's calling Tyler's bluff here. So Tyler, if he gets stuck here behind Fluffy. Oh, late on the brakes. That's a very, very nice move there from Tyler. But that's what he needed to do to really put the pressure on Demon R.
Yeah, definitely. SGP having done an additional pit stop. Okay, he is behind Steve F1. And considering that he's done 2 pit stops to Steve F1's 1 pit stop, SGP's recovered okay. He's not in that bad a position.
Yeah, he's right on. Yeah, he says was fighting Steve F1.
3 wide there doesn't work!
Yeah,
thank God they backed out. Demon R going for the pits. So
he's going to have to cover that off, that attack from Tyler, and there is SGP just passing Jimmy. But yeah, I think that this battle coming out of the pit lane is where we need to be looking at right now. Is Tyler in front of Demon R?
Demon R's making his way out of the pit lane now, and Tyler has got ahead of him into turn 1. So, see, this is an interesting situation. On brand new tyres, Tyler couldn't catch much couldn't attack Demon R on like 20-minute old tyres. So it'll be interesting to see what happens now, because in a way, Demon R, he'll know that Tyler's going to be pitting again, surely. So he can either just go, I'll just wait here till you pit, or he can apply some pressure and say, right then, you are either going to go faster or you're going to hurt your tyres.
I mean, it's a good call for him. He's been thinking on his feet. He thought on his feet for the first set of pit stops, and really capitalised them. But right now, you need to get you need to have your racecraft defensive worked out. So right now he's really covering that inside, so he could really be doing moving a little bit more over to the right to open up this corner, because Demon R's just going to drive around the outside. He's done it. He's done it.
Oh, Rich Blues, big off there. I didn't see exactly what happened, but you're absolutely right, James. I mean, Tyler, and he said Lewis, Tyler was defending the inside corner quite nicely, but once he'd seen that Demon R was over to the right hand side, he could have moved across and made it as tight as possible. But fair play to him. Maybe Tyler is thinking, well, you know what, I'll follow him, look after my tyres a bit, maybe he'll try going to the end on this set.
I think we've seen today with Tyler fantastic speed overall. He's got.
Oh, Lewis!
Oh no, it wasn't Lewis. Oh, yeah, it was. Yeah.
Lewis lost it. Oh, Gary's gone wide on the exit of the final corner.
Yeah, so I think one thing for Tyler to work on is probably just defensive racecraft. Could have really made a bit of an effort there and could have still had the race lead in his pocket. Steve F1 under braking up the inside. And SGP's trying to get in there as well, saying, "Oh, can I fit through, please?"
Yeah, SGP squeezing Lewis a little bit as well, and got to be careful of those curbs. They like to spin the cars out. SGP could do with getting past Gary. I mean, if SGP can get past Gary and stick on the back of Steve F1, in the grand scheme of things, it's not gone too badly. But we've still got 18 minutes to go as Groover's into the barrier, and around he goes. Disaster for Groover.
Yeah,
SGP's looking up the inside. No, it's SGP.
Oh.
Yeah. Well, you may have seen Lewis doing something. I saw SGP going late on the brakes.
Yeah, I think his left tyres touched the grass, sort of running up the hill, and I was like, "Oh no." So luckily he managed to slow it down just enough there, because I thought that was going to be a disaster there for Lewis. But
it's interesting now. You know what? I think Lewis was trying to avoid the back of Gary, but couldn't go left because Jimmy was coming, and Jimmy's capitalised on that. And in the background, Rich and Jason getting a little bit feisty as well. Gary, he's going to have a look up the inside into Adrian's on Jimmy. Jimmy, is he giving him the room? Yes, he is. Lewis is going wide though. Jimmy's gone wide as well. That's going to free up Gary, but here comes Jason now. But Gary knows this bit of the track is not a 3-wide part of the circuit. It's not even a 2-wide part of the circuit, to be fair.
I think if I'd been Gary, I'd have made sure I'd have left a little bit more space there for the guys on the outside, because they had nowhere to go other than the gravel. But here we go, is Tyler close enough to re-attack Demon down towards turn 1? I don't think he's close enough.
I'm not so sure. You know what? But the thing is, though, Tyler, if he wants to win this race, he needs to attack Demon R. He needs to be ahead of him. He can't allow Demon R to open up any kind of a gap on him. No,
indeed. Fluffy there, just really sitting quite nicely in third place. But he's got Steve F1 who's broke away from the pack now. SGP's just about broke away from the pack, but here we go.
I think Gary's just tagged Jason into the barrier. It's not a big hit, but Jason's lost a number of places, but now Gary's into the barrier, and Rich makes them. I don't know if is Gary slowing down. I can't tell. It looks like he was either slowing down or going slow. Either way, he's back in the fight now, and yeah, Jason maybe a little bit miffed on that one, as Lewis trying to make his way through, as well as Gary is heading to the pits.
Yeah, wise decision there. We're all getting a bit heated, and away we go again. So here we go, we've got Jason up behind Lewis, up behind Jimmy. And Jimmy, I think he's having a little look at Rich there.
He is. Jimmy going a little bit hard on the brakes, and Lewis side by side with Jason. To be fair, that was quite nice between Lewis and Jason as they battle their way around the corners. But I think Jimmy may be a little bit frustrated in this one. I mean, I know he's Rich, where are you going? No, and he tags the side of Jason. I think Jason got away with that one. Not a lot Rich could have done there once he's on the gravel, yeah. But having said that, it's interesting, if you watch Demon R's line through those corners, he actively uses the off-track part of the circuit there.
Yeah, I have been watching his onboards in practice, because there is a bit of time there to be gained, but it's risky to do. But if you can control a car over there, you can use it. You just do not want to be in that gravel. Yeah,
if you get the control slightly wrong, you end up in the Adrian's wall. Okay, what we got here? Let's see. That's Groover flying past Fluffy. I don't know if Fluffy was letting him through there or not. I'm not sure. But Gary, having pitted, is right behind these two.
Yeah, indeed. And Fluffy on fresh tyres. Gary on 2-lap fresh tyres. So let's just see if they can gather their thoughts and re-attack now.
Yep, so looking back up at the front, Demon R still leading the way. I think Tyler's dropping back a little bit as Steve F1 sitting in 3rd place. He's made 1 pit stop. SGP in 4th place, he's made 2. Jimmy in 5th place. Groover in 6th place. Oh, Jason! Whoa. Jason fly. I can't imagine that he was going in there on his own. I think the way the speed he was going in there, he either got on the grass on the right-hander or there was a bit of contact there. But yeah, Jason fast into the barrier. But it's interesting, the final sector of this track, Demon R was telling me that the fastest way through it is to actually go slower. The harder and faster you try and go through the downhill, left, right, uphill, the more chance there is of having a crash at the hairpin. But if you go a little slow, just lift off before the right-hander, you have no problems in the hairpin whatsoever. And the thing is, he looks after the tyres as well, which is why I think Demon R has been able to make this look like a one-stop. And you know what? He is pulling away from Tyler. So this is where, if I'm Tyler, annoyingly, I think I would be thinking, there's nothing I can do here.
Yeah, I think it's checkmate right now, because Demon R has just it's just pulling away. There's no we can do about it. If somebody's quicker than you, you just can't do anything about it. But here comes Fluffy, having a little look up the inside of Groover. Groover and leaving a bit of space. That's nice to see.
Lovely bit of driving.
Yeah, there is some fantastic driving. There's some shocking driving. I've got to admit. Oh, here we go, Gary. Have a little look, and Fluffy's trying to cover that off. Yeah, there is some fascinating driving going on. Oh, Rich getting all over the curve. Is he enough up the inside to brake and get that slowed down? That's a nice little move there from Rich. That's it. There is some fantastic driving. There is some.
Yeah. I mean, when you look at it as terms of drivers having made improvements, there are definite signs of big improvements. There are also, unfortunately, big crashes still, but they're great to see.
Yeah, I think it would be fascinating to see this league with a little bit of damage. If drivers knew, I can't really make a mistake here because I don't want to end up damaging my car. I wonder how risk averse they would be, and how much better the racing would be, or if they'd do the same.
I think it wouldn't, in all honesty, I don't think it'd change much, because the minimal damage is not that big of a penalty, because it does, it wears off, it fixes itself. And also, Gary and Jimmy side by side through the bit. I said isn't side by side, but Fluffy! Interesting that, because those two were side by side, Jimmy was extremely slow there. Fluffy caught him up quickly, but that's where, see, this is where we say, like James was saying, we've seen some brilliant driving and there's some shocking stuff. Unfortunately, Fluffy there needed to spot that those two were side by side going slow, as they're going to try and make the road's a bit wider, guys, use all of it.
Yeah, I think Jimmy's trying to squeeze the two of them because he didn't want two cars overtaking him.
But again, a bit of rough driving, and then into turn one, all lovely and brilliant.
Yeah, but like I say, it's just an opinion. I could be wrong, but I would like to see a little bit of damage just to see if the drivers do take a little bit more care in them silly situations, or if they just do the same.
Or Tyler is going for his final pit stop, so I can't imagine he's going to be able to catch Demon R now. As Steve F1, he's going to take second place, I believe, unless Tyler can get out of the pits ahead of him, but I don't think that's going to happen. The SGP is going to come out right ahead of Tyler, so it's close. Tyler, though, brand new tyres. Steve F1 has been on his for about 10 minutes, and SGP about 11 minutes, so Tyler has the fresher tyres, so may get back into second place, but unfortunately now I can't see that he's going to be able to do anything about Demon R unless Demon R messes up. But
I think when he pitted, that were him just surrendering completely.
Yeah, quite possibly. Talking a little bit about the damage, I mean, the minimal damage, Tyler, I think, just scrubbed the wall there. The minimal damage may have a bit of an effect, but it's one of those where it can, unfortunately, if you're the victim, it can hurt you more. And the next level of damage, unfortunately, it's too extreme, really. If you're a victim, your race is done. You have no choice but to pit. Your car goes ridiculously slow. I mean, don't get wrong, with DGT have done some Destruction Derby races, and it's great fun with the damage on, but you definitely can tell that you're going like 30 mile an hour slower. But I mean, it would be interesting to see what happens as Tyler having a look at SGP into Adrian's, or side by side. Can Tyler make his fresher tyres benefit him side by side still? And this is what I'm on about, where too wide doesn't really work, but that's brilliant driving.
Yes, especially from SGP there. He knew he had to lift off, because if he'd have kept his foot in there, they'd have both been in the wall. But at the same time, I don't know, I'm a bit of a stickler here, but I like to see drivers as leaving at least a car's width.
Yeah. Oh, what about Jimmy? He's leaving a whole track in a pit lane. So here we go. This could end up 3 wide, 4 wide. Jason, he's in a bit of
Come on, guys, let's make it 5.
Gary's trying. As Fluffy having a bit of a door banging with his mate Groover. He won't be his mate for long.
Yeah, I've noticed Groover does do that down towards turn 1. If he's got somebody up his inside, he'll turn in on them way before the apex and say, please don't overtake me. Unfortunately, Groover, you've got to get defensive well before turn 1.
Yep, that you do. See, now it'd be interesting if these cars had horns, because they would be sounded a lot. But it would be a handy way of saying, "Hey, I'm here." Fluffy though, he's having a look at the back of Rich, getting a little bit twitchy under braking. He's got Groover trying to attack him as well, but Fluffy going for a lovely little switchback. Little bit of contact with Rich there, but nothing too major. Oh, Groover trying to avoid the pit wall, I think, or saying hello to Rich.
I think it's more just saying, please don't overtake me. Here we go. Is Groover going to do that same move again where he turns in way before the apex? Oh no, he's braking deep. And he's actually done a nice little bit of drag. Oh no, he's run Fluffy a little bit wide there.
Yeah.
And Fluffy just slightly on the gravel, lost 2 more places. So just needs to regather his thoughts and carry on as we've only got 7 minutes left to the end of the race.
Yeah, that we have. Jason into the barrier. Oh, that's put Fluffy into the barrier. Not a lot either of them can do. I mean, there is a part of the wall there that kind of sticks out. It kind of comes out of nowhere to a degree. So yeah, Jason clipping that. It's the same wall that Tyler hit on, I think it was the second lap of the race. Or it might even have been the first, not Tyler. Lewis hit on the opening couple of laps of the race.
Yeah.
Talking of Tyler, he is though closing in on the back of Steve F1. However, Demon R is pulling away from the lot of them. He's gone, he's checked out.
Yeah. The one thing that's interesting here with Tyler catching Steve F1, Steve F1 is a fantastic driver when it comes to racecraft.
Yeah.
I wonder if Steve F1's gonna show Tyler.
Four wide into Radrians.
See you later.
Yeah, that was never gonna work.
But yeah, I think Tyler, if he might get frustrated here behind Steve F1, thinking I'm on fresh tyres, I should be coming through here. But really, if he just studied Steve F1 and he used Steve F1's racecraft for future races, this could have possibly been the battle when Demon R turned up behind him.
Yeah, Steve F1 knows how to defend, and he has learnt so much in the defensive arts. I sound like someone from Harry Potter now, the dark arts of defence. He's learnt a lot. Expelliarmus, bugger off, Tyler is saying.
I'm just thinking, who's Dumbledore?
Who's got the biggest beard?
Yeah, and balls. Right, here we go. So Tyler, under braking into the final corner, just needs to try and spot that acceleration point and try and not allow Steve F1 to get away.
Yeah, this lap, Tyler's much closer. So watch Steve F1, as Steve F1 is going to go defensive this time. Yep, there we go.
Yeah, forcing Tyler to the outside. But as you can see, Steve F1 came slightly back across.
Yeah.
Left the car's width, but it just meant that Tyler couldn't run it all the way around the outside.
Exactly. And that's what, if Tyler had been able to do that on Demon R, like you say, it would have made it considerably more difficult. But at the same time, I do know that a couple of the drivers, they do hate it when Demon R appears in their mirrors. It's almost like, it's a bit like Neo and Agent Smith. It's inevitable.
Yeah. I used to love it when he turned up in my mirrors, because I always just used to think, yeah, fireworks. Anyway, is Tyler marked 2? Can he try and do the same thing again? What's Steve F1 going to do on this lap?
See, now Steve F1, Tyler's close again, so Steve F1, is he going to go defensive? Yes, he is. So Tyler, what are you going to do on this occasion? He's going a little bit deeper, trying to force the issue, but Steve F1 says, no, that's not happening. Yeah,
I think Tyler there was turning in, into a driver there, knowing, this would be my normal turning in point. Oh, he's at the inside. Could this be the position?
That's a lovely move. He caught Steve F1 napping. Yeah. He wasn't waking up in the defensive region.
Yeah, indeed. So there we saw that's what you should do there. But down it was turn 1 on the previous lap. I don't think Steve F1's going to be able to re-attack. I think his tyres have gone. But yeah, on the previous lap, down it was turn 1, Tyler started turning in on Steve F1. But Steve F1 were in front, so really you can't turn in on a car because you're both going to end up going straight forward. So you're better off trying to make the other driver that's in front of you make a mistake, and if you can't, you reset yourself for the next corner.
Yeah, so on that situation it would have been good looking for the switch back in turn 1, knowing it might not work. Fluffy braking. Oh no, I was going to say Fluffy braking early, but it was Jimmy braking late. Gary's been caught out, tags the back of Fluffy. Come on, Fluffy, get going. We will be what Gary's saying, because now Gary is under pressure from Rich and from Groover.
He'll go into the sandbox. Who's going to... oh no, nobody's been in it. That's a surprise.
I think someone's left a small brown log in there, so everyone's avoiding it. They don't want to play in there. As Fluffy attacking Jimmy, as Jimmy's getting a little bit sideways, getting a little bit physical. Rich is going to have to make sure he doesn't get caught up in this. If he can do a switchback, which he does, that's a nice overtake on Jippy. Who's Jippy? Jesus.
We need to make that decal.
Oh God.
Jippy.
The thing is, that's going to stick now as well. This could end up badly. Groover going late on the brakes. I'll be surprised if he gets that stopped. He got it stopped, but that was risky, and now he's slow. Gary's got the run on him, but they're banging doors, and off they go.
That was mental there. Jippy just getting out of the way of that. And I've got to say, that were a bit crazy.
Yeah, to be fair, I mean, I don't want to pick on anyone, but that all kind of came from Groover going way too hot on the brakes into turn 1. Yes, he got ahead into turn 1, but he was so slow on the exit that it closed everybody up as it's all battling and kicking off again.
Yeah, I think Jason there just caught Jippy napping into the final corner and thought, I'll have a bit of that. Rich, don't know where he's going. I think he's just trying to look for a bit of a slipstream.
Let's see if Jimmy has got any lemon Jippy. Got anything about him? No, he's taking it easy this time, but Rich forcing the issue. You know what? Yeah. It's close. It's a bit of door banging, but they're still going. This bit's just racing contact, I would say. Yeah. I mean, Rich and Jippy are friends, kind of. Jason going very, very defensive here. He does not want to be passed as Groover's into the gravel, into the barrier in rages, but Jimmy's just tagged the side of Jason. Rich tags the side of Jason as well. I think that may... looking at the track map, I think there's been a bit of carnage up there. We've not seen it live, but I am hearing that, unfortunately, there was a bit of contact there, but Rich Blues is trying to let Jason come back through as Demon R.
I'm glad you said back through there, because I'm getting a bit worried there.
Yeah, but Jason's into the pit lane, so not a lot Rich could do about that. But Demon R leading the way. We're on to the last lap of the race, I think, James. It's going to be close. Demon R may be able to get another lap in, but he is absolutely...
Well, he's got 20 seconds in pocket just to sit and wait.
And he doesn't want to do the extra lap.
Lazy. Just lazy.
It is, isn't it?
Yeah, but at the same time, if you've got that amount of time to waste, I think that as well. Yeah, he just waited there. He's got the checkered flag. Tyler P2, well done there, and Steve F1 coming over the line for P3. There's going to be SGP, but yeah, the amount of time there that Demon R had in his pocket, I think everybody else might as well just pack up and go home.
Don't say that. Okay, Jippy crosses the line ahead of Groover. Let's see, Rich Blues coming around in 9th place. And I tell you what, Jason and Lewis, they're battling for 10th and 11th, heading into the final corner. I think Lewis has just got ahead of Jason. Yes, he has. So Lewis is going to make a move on the final lap of the race, and Jason, he's trying to bug his mirrors, I think. Either that or he's trying to clean his tyres, and across the line he goes. I mean, what I would say is, okay, yeah, it'd be very easy to say, everyone else might as well pack up and go home. But at the same time, I think if I was any one of the other drivers, I'd be looking and going, okay, so what did Demon R do that I'm not?
He didn't get stuck in the pack. He didn't allow himself to get stuck in the pack. He just went.
Okay.
Whereas most other people, they're not wanting to get stuck in the pack, but unfortunately they're getting stuck in the pack.
Well, the other question then would be, how is Demon R driving that the others aren't? I mean, he's done a one-stop strategy.
You said he was lifting off in certain corners, preserving the tyres, and other drivers, unfortunately, are just burning the tyres, so then they haven't got the grip when they need it.
Yeah. I mean, I did speak to Demon R last night, and I asked him, I said, Demon R, what's going on? How come you were able to go from the back to the front, do a one-stop, have such a gap at the front? And his simple answer was, I did everything I did in my guides video.
Well, I spoke to him and he just told me to shut up, so I don't know what his attitude problem is with me, but you know.
Well, what can I say? What can I say? Maybe it's because you've not been on the track for a while. It's missed the fireworks.
Yeah, he's just trying to wind me up.
Yeah. Okay, so I mean, Demon R. Putting another marker down, really, another provisional stamp on another championship. To be fair though, Tyler, okay, I think he knows that he got his strategy a little bit wrong today, because to be fair, with him being out in front, although the last race, and this is quite interesting actually, and in a way I'm glad to shoot this on commentary again, at the last race we said the right thing for Lewis and Tyler and Gary to have done is, when there was a 6-second gap, was to have pitted to get out ahead of the pack. Now Tyler has done that in this race. Unfortunately, that's not what was the best thing to do in this race. In this race, given how the tyres can last, the best thing Tyler could have done is, he's in the lead, just keep on going.
See, I might be confusing people here, but I personally think that were a masterstroke doing what he did earlier on. I think the problem he had were when he tried to then force the undercut on Demon R. Now, if I'd have been his engineer, I'd have been sitting there going, we're looking good, we've got fresher tyres, just keep the pressure on Demon R.
Yeah.
And when he pits, we'll pit, and we'll come out, and we'll literally be right on his tail. And we'll just keep pressuring him until he makes a mistake. I personally don't think that it were a problem pitting. Yeah, you're giving up track position, but I'd rather have better tyres and
so it wouldn't have been
behind.
It wouldn't have been the first pit stop that you wouldn't have done. You'd have done the first pit stop, but not done the second pit stop.
I would have not done the second one to do an undercut, because you're already on fresher tyres, so you know that you can go longer.
Yeah.
I'd rather keep putting the pressure on and wait for Demon R to pit. And if he doesn't pit, you're going to force him into an error. Because at some point, his tyres are going to go off the cliff and you've got 8 minutes of fresher tyres.
Yep, definitely.
So,
I mean, it's very interesting how it can switch from track to track, though, dependent on tyre life and gap, really. I mean, for Steve F1, I mean, he did the one stop, he had a spin, he finished in 3rd place. I don't think he can be too disheartened about that. Although, without the spin, I mean, he was following Demon R through early on. Without the spin, he may have been able to do something about Demon R that could have brought Tyler a little bit more into it. It's unfortunate for him. But again, I mean, we were able to see Steve F1 showing a bit of a defensive masterclass, and then we got to see him having a nap.
Indeed.
Yeah, SGP finishing in 4th, considering how many times we saw him spinning. I think he said himself after the race it was not a good one for him. But to recover and finish in 4th, although yes, the point lost towards Demon R, so to speak, and Steve F1, but in terms of the race itself, very well done to get back to 4th.
Yeah, I think if SGP wants this championship, I know it's easier to say than it is to do, but he needs to
break Demon R's legs.
Well, either break his legs or break his internet connection.
Yeah.
And then he just needs to beat him on track. I know it's easier to say than it is to do, but at the end of the day, he probably needs to just get his elbows out a little bit more with Demon R, and just needs to beat him on track.
Yeah. Off the top of my head, I can't remember who finished 5th, but going through a few of the drivers, Gary had a tough race, few incidents, but I think he's one that he'll be a little frustrated about, but did show signs of some bits of decent driving. Jippy had a very good start to the race. I think he unfortunately got taught a lesson. As I said, he's been bragging to Rich Blues all week about how, because it's difficult to overtake at this track and he's starting on pole, he's going to win. And Rich was saying to him, I wouldn't be so sure about that. And even before the race, Jimmy put a message up saying, this one's mine. And he's just had a lesson of, it doesn't always go how you want.
I think in this league, the key thing is consistency. Not only in not only in lap times but also the racecraft.
Yes.
You cannot rest on your laurels. I mean, God, how many races did I do? Only one race.
Yeah.
And I've got to admit, the amount of concentration that went into that race win was ridiculous. So even if you sat on pole position, good luck.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's true, and like I say, it's the racecraft as well. I mean, I know that I do know, because like I said, I spoke to Stephen R last night. I did ask him, says, why didn't you attack Jippy into turn 1? And he said, I wanted to see what he was going to do, because he needed to know what was he going to do as a driver when he's under attack. And it's one of those things, if you don't know what the person ahead is going to do, then you don't know what you're going to do. But if you know what the other person may do, you've got an opportunity. So for example, Demon R, Steve F1 or SGP, you get them side by side. There may now and again be a little bit of contact, but you know they're going to stay away from each other but fight hard. Unfortunately, like we saw with Groover going for that Dan Dare late braking move earlier on, unfortunately that wasn't the right thing to do because of the other cars around him, and that's where the racecraft kind of comes into it. So Groover's had a tough one, but again, when I've said it before, Groover's one of the drivers that, because of his work at the moment, I mean, there's no way you'd see me getting up at 2:30 in the morning to go to work. He's had limited practice. Lewis, he's getting better. He's getting to the end of races. Yes, there's still incidents, but I've got to say, there was parts of the race today where I'm thinking, oh, he's going to squeeze someone, but actually he was giving room. I think Lewis and Rich were having some really good battles throughout that.
Yeah, indeed. Like I say, I'm not, trying to upset anybody. I'm just saying that it's probably 75% fantastic racing, and then there's 25% where you're like, whoa, bit of a question mark there.
Yeah, and those question marks are why the drivers can send steward reports in, and we'll get onto those in a few moments' time because there have been some. I do need to do a little bit of I started the video with this saying and I forgot how to say it, and I went with cleaning. It's not cleaning, it's like parish notes kind of thing. Like when things need just clarifying, that like a mistake's been made, so you got to do a bit of housework. Not housework. Yeah, it's gone. But anyway, Bunzel at the last race, there was an error in the stewards' reports after the event. So Bunzel was meant to be given a penalty, and that is going to be applied to his championship points today. So there will be an effect on the point standings on that one. I do want to say as well, it is a shame that Twilight and Dave the Housekeeping, that's the one.
Yeah.
That's it, not housework.
I'll get there 20 minutes later. Housekeeping.
Yeah. Done in a jiffy.
Yeah.
Now you know why I said lemon jiffy earlier, like jiffy. Jiffy.
Yeah. You remember? You get Sif now, the cleaning product.
Well, that's what Jiffy.
It used to be called Jif, didn't it?
Yeah, and before it was called Jif, it was called Jiffy.
Yeah, why the hell they changed it? Bloody Europeans.
I know, it's all that Brexit. Anyway.
Bring Jiffy back.
So I'm trying to think what else was on the track. Rich Blues, definite signs of improvement. There was an incident with Jason and towards the end, but I mean, accidents can happen. I don't know exactly what did happen there, but we'll see if there was a report button on that one. But yeah, I mean, overall, some interesting racing. It is a shame that the likes of Twilight, Dave the Art were on holiday together, sunning themselves. Be interesting to see which parts of their bodies are not tanned. SRI, unfortunately, under the weather this week, so hopefully he'll be back firing on all cylinders for the next race. And Bunzel, if he's not been wiped out by the Italian mafia, he will hopefully be on track again soon.
Yep, indeed.
Also, Con Reese messaged me yesterday saying he has now moved house. So, once his internet's up, he will be finding himself back on the track, hopefully, which will be good because Con is a good driver. It'll be very interesting to see where Con Rees can slot into the fight, because when he returns he won't start on pole, because the new rule for this season is if you're on 0 points, or if you're on 0 points for your first race, or you like DNF your first race and you're on 0 points, you start at the back, not on pole.
Yeah.
So he'd have a tough race in his first one, but then after that, starting up near the front, he could definitely mix things up a bit. Also, I hear that there may be a reserve driver hanging around the track next week. God help us all.
I've heard he's quite explosive.
Yeah. Oh dear.
Controversial, some might say.
Yeah. Let's see if he's learnt from his race ban. So yeah, it'll be interesting. And just to mention as well, the next race is going to be at the Red Bull Ring Grand Prix circuit, and for anyone that needs it, Demon R will have put a guides video out, and so I would definitely recommend watching them, because he races how he drives in those videos. So if you want to know what he's doing, watch them. And what else is there that I needed to let everybody know? Yes, one more titillating piece of information for you.
Ooh, bloody hell!
Yeah,
you put that adjective before information, and my ears peak up.
Yeah, tit.
Titillating.
Well, so far the next championships car has not been announced. Now, I do know that in DGT, if it's going to be a car that's expensive, like 1 million credits, they've
told us now.
They've said that they'd let you know at the start of the season.
But Dave, you're definitely not an admin.
That is true.
You wouldn't know.
That is true. I don't know. In actual fact, I don't know what car it is.
Nobody be questioning Dave on Messenger going, please tell me what car it is, because there's no point in asking, because he's not an admin.
Have you just messaged me? But what the admins have told me is that the next race is race 5, and the car will be announced on the video for race 5.
So from what I'm gathering, from what you said, I'm reading between the lines here, it's going to be a cheap as chips car.
It's not going to be an expensive car. It's not going to be 1 million credits car. I know that because they've not told us yet. Other than that, I believe the admins have said they've got it down to a possible 2 or 3 cars. But they haven't told me which one. So yeah, I'll find out soon, and you may be the first to know if you're on commentary next week, James.
Oh, right, okay. So, yeah.
It depends on if you've been banned again or not.
Well, this is it. You know, that controversial drive.
Yeah, the only way SGP can win this championship is if Mandalorian wipes out Demon R every lap.
Well, that's it. I haven't set out to do that, but maybe that's why he's annoyed, because he's like, I just don't want him on track near me. He's a liability. He
remembers Bathurst. I'm glad I saw you coming. Oh, no. Anyway, James, thank you very much for joining us as commentary. Fun as always.
Yeah, no worries.
It may not have been the most exciting of starts for us, but it definitely lit up when the lights went out. And now it is time to check out the confirmed race results with any stewards' reports, and then a look at the championship standings as we head towards race 5 at the Red Bull Ring. Here we go then for the confirmed race result for round 4 at the Sardegna road track. And as you can see, there's a few red boxes with minus 5-point penalties in them. I will get onto those in a few moments time. But just to confirm the result, Demon R takes the victory and the maximum points. Tyler drove well, but he got a penalty, so maybe there was a bit that wasn't so well, but he did do well, finishing in 2nd place. And now I'm just confusing myself. Steve F1 finished in 3rd. SGP finished in 4th. Fluffy Planet did well to finish in 5th, while Formula Gary finished 6th. In 7th on his 2nd race was Jimmy C93. Not quite the victory he thought he was going to get, perhaps an eye-opener to the what the DGT League can be like. In 8th place was Groover, with Rich Blues in 9th, Lewis in 10th, and Jason sadly finishing at the back in 11th. And as I previously mentioned, a few drivers away this week: Twilight, Dave the Harp, SRI, Bunsell and Con Reese. And hopefully Dave the Harp, SRI and Bunsell will be back for the next race. Twilight won't be, as he will still be on holiday. Okay, on to those penalties that we can see that have been given. I'm not going to spend too long going into all of these. If you want the full detailed analysis of them, check out the DGT League Facebook page. Let's see, incident 1, so this is to do with Tyler and Jason. So the incident we saw, or possible incident we saw on the first lap at Radrian's turn 4. Let's see, the stewards are saying that Jason leaves more than a car's width of space into the corner and at the apex. Tyler is carrying a bit more speed in the corner and understeers wide into Jason, forcing him off the track, resulting in Jason losing places. The steward's outcome was that Tyler should have waited, and because he didn't, it will be a -5 point penalty. I believe Tyler did message the page to say that he fully intended on waiting after the final corner, but then got enticed in the battle and completely forgot. Easy to do, but at least he was aware of the incident. Incident 2 was between formerly Gary and Jason in exactly the same corner, turn 4, Radrian's. Let's see, going into turn 4, Jason has a driver on each side and gives enough room to both of them. At the corner, Rich Blues backs out, leaving formerly Gary and Jason side by side at the corner. Formerly Gary takes the apex tight and the curb unsettles his car, and he can't keep a tight line around the corner, and he understeers into Jason and hits him off the track. Stewart's outcome there was that formerly Gary doesn't wait for Jason but should have done, so that results in a -5 point penalty for Gary. The third incident, although this one isn't a penalty actually, but I will mention this one. Let's see, incident 3. Let's see, it says here that Jimmy first pushes into Richard, then into Jason, or Jippy as he's now known. And the steward comments here is that this had to have a few views and different stewards look at it, so obviously not a simple one. And there was a bit of side by side contact between Jimmy and Rich Blues going into turn 1, and when exiting the corner, Rich Blues gets on the throttle before the car is settled and has a bit of oversteer and has minor contact with Jimmy. At this point, Rich lifts so he doesn't gain an advantage. This part is deemed as a racing incident. Coming to turn 5, Jimmy and Jason are side by side and meet at the turning point of the corner, and minor contact is made. This is deemed a racing incident. But Jason has to lift to make the corner, making him slow, and further contact is made by Rich Blues and then Formula Gary. But formerly Gary had no chance of knowing where to go or what to do, and what resulted was Gary going straight between the two of them, but no action against Gary there. Now Rich Blues, having hit Jason, slows down to wait for him up to the final corner, and then on the main straight. However, Jason is going slow and goes to make a pit stop. At that point, Rich Blues carries on. So it looks like this has been deemed as a racing incident, or at least there's no action against Rich Blues, because he did try to give the position back on 2 occasions, but due to the circumstances he couldn't. And the final incident, I think there's a penalty for lap 25, turn 1, Groover hits Rich Blues off track. Let's see, Rich Blues and Groover are side by side going down the pit straight with SGP in front of Groover. Blame SGP. Groover tries to overtake SGP while Rich Blues is beside him, making contact and sending Rich Blues off track and loses him time. Groover should have waited and therefore is a -5 point penalty. Okay, that's all the penalties dealt with. I said I wouldn't go into detail and I did, but if you want more info, check out the DGT League Facebook page for those. Okay, let's take a look at the championship standings. Here we go then, Demon R leading the way on 77 points with SGP and Steve F1 both tied in second place on 60 points. Tyler sitting in fourth place on 53 points, and then he's got a nice healthy gap back to Fluffy Planet in fifth. Dave the Harper's dropped down to 6th place because he was on holiday. He's on 27 points, and Formula Gary has closed up the gap to him. He's on 26 points. In 8th place is Groover on 24 points, and only 2 points behind him is Rich Blues in 9th. Jason sitting in 10th place on 19 points, while SRI and Twilight still tied on 16 points, but now for 11th place. Bunsel, he's had his points adjusted from the previous race's penalty that needed to be applied, so he is now joint 13th on 13 points with Jimmy. If I was Bunsel and Jimmy, I would not go anywhere or do anything ever again. There's too many 13s there. In 15th place is Lewis, he's on 11 points, and in 16th is Conreese on 0. However, hopefully he will be on the track soon. Okay, next up is the Red Bull Ring Grand Prix circuit with another reverse championship standings order grid. It's going to be an interesting one around that track. Like this place, not many corners, but hopefully some more opportunities for overtaking. We do want to see drivers adhering to track limits, especially around turn 1 and the final 2 corners at the Red Bull Ring. If you need to know more information on that, ask the DGT League admins. Okay, hope you've all enjoyed this, and make sure you come and check us out at the Red Bull Ring because it could be feisty. Have a good one, everyone, and see you all again soon.